Well, I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, could you subscribe to this channel? Could you share it with your friends? Could you invite others to be a part of it? I really want to tell stories that magnify Jesus and make him look great, because that's the truth of what happens. That's the truth of who he is, and that's the truth of how good God's been to us. And all the years that we've been serving him, God has always been so good. I thought I'd tell you a story today about cross-cultural shock or culture shock, and it was kind of funny. I was traveling with my youngest son, David. It was a different time, and we showed up at a church in West Virginia. And I never showed slides, but I had taken a bunch of pictures, and I didn't know how to put them together, and I just wasn't real good at it. So all I ever asked to do, if the pastor gave me an opportunity, I just preached, shared my testimony, told things about it. I usually spent just 3 or 4 minutes, maybe max, on whatever was happening in the ministry. And then the rest of it was just preaching with stories interspersed all through it, so that people could know what was happening. They'd know that it was much more than just a regular message, because I'd tell stories about God's blessings and Peru all through it. So we showed up at a church, and I had my slides out in the vehicle, and I was with my youngest son, David. And this church asked me to show the slides. And I said, I don't show slides. I really don't feel like that's the best use of my time. I'm not good at it. Oh, come on, please. And there wasn't but maybe a dozen people there. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll just mess up. And so I showed slides, a bunch of them, way too many. Poorly taken pictures, and this is long before the days of all the modern technology that we have today. And so I'm showing all these slides and talking about all this stuff and telling all these stories. And this man makes a comment. Man, we have with us today Austin Gardner, who's a missionary in Peru, where the great Pizarro was, the conquistador who came and civilized the Americas. And he just went on and on and on about how great Pizarro was. And I didn't think anything about it. I'll be honest with you. I went to school in America, and I heard all those stories. But David went to school in Peru, and they see things totally different. The story was being told in Peru about how Pizarro was a conqueror, and he had come down to stomp on and hurt the people of South America. And so we got in a car. By the way, there was at that time in the tourist hotel in Ica, there was a picture of a Spanish conquistador sitting on his horse, and he's got all of his armor on, and he's got his helmet on, he's got his lance, and his horse has got its hoof on the chest of a Peruvian indigenous man, and the lance is stuck in the man's throat, and it says conquistadores, the conquerors, the conquistadors. And so we got in the car, and David just went off on us. You would not believe how David talked. David goes, that guy doesn't know anything about what he's talking about. I said, calm down, David. History is written from the perspective of the people writing it. And so in America, he was considered a hero. And David said, well, he wasn't a hero. He was abusive. He mistreated our people. And David just went off. And he was so upset about this guy saying that Pizarro was a hero. And I learned something. You put in the picture frame, you frame the picture the way you see history and the way you look at it. And for David, that man was a villain, and he was horrible. And for the American, he was a hero. I'm not even picking sides here. I know at one time Peru and Ecuador had drawn world maps, and they drew them differently and drew the lines of the countries differently, because Ecuador was claiming land that Peru claimed, and Peru was claiming land that Ecuador claimed. All I'm saying is that sometimes when you're a missionary, you're going to run into things that seem to go counter to everything you've ever been taught. And you're going to have to make up your mind that you will not be fighting and defensive and argumentative. If you want to be happy in their home, you need to kind of treat them with some love and respect. And so anyway, there's a little lesson for you today for you to think about. Man, I sure appreciate you taking the time to watch these missionary stories. I try to keep them short. I try to keep them interesting. I hope that you're enjoying them. If you are, would you subscribe to the channel? Would you give it some likes? Would you let people know that this is going on? Would you help me add more and more subscribers? I am asking God to get us to 300 subscribers, and boy, it'd sure be good if you'd help me. I thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I pray that you will just get a blessing. God bless you.